For the past 8 years, this kung fu master has been wearing shoes that weigh 25 kilos each on his feet. He fights enemies while wearing them. Now imagine what happens when he takes them off. That's the kind of story we're sharing today. At the beginning of the story, we meet a kung fu master named Wulin. He belonged to an ancient Chinese tribe known for their iron-strong legs. For the first time in his life, he came to a big city. Suddenly, a group of goons ran past, bumping into a child holding an ice cream. To help the kid, Wulin also ran after those goons. These goons were actually there to attack someone, but Wulin stopped them to get back the child's ice cream money. As soon as the goons attacked him, Wulin didn't back down. He faced them all alone and, being a skilled kung fu warrior, he defeated them one by one. Finally, he won, and, in the process, also saved the life of a wealthy man named Jai Shan. The man offered Wulin some money, but Wulin refused. Instead, he went back to the child and bought him a new ice cream. Suddenly, multiple cars surrounded him from all sides. Their leader, Zhang Li, stepped out and hugged Wulin. Zhang Li was also a kung fu warrior who now ran a bodyguard company. Wulin and Zhang Li had learned kung fu together from the same master. They grew up together, but Zhang Li had moved to the city. In the city's luxurious lifestyle, he had forgotten their master's teachings. Later, it's revealed that Zhang Li didn't leave the village on his own. One day, during training, he made a mistake, and their master banished him. Wulin then showed him the master's ashes and said, "The master has passed away." Hearing this, Zhang Li broke down and cried. The next day, they both went to Zhang Li's company. During the security check, Wulin was asked to remove his shoes, as they were made of iron. But Zhang Li knew the story behind those shoes, so he allowed Wulin to enter. Inside, Jai Shan had come to Zhang Li to hire a bodyguard for his daughter. Zhang Li showcased his men's strength to Jai Shan, but Jai Shan was interested only in Wulin. After much thought, Wulin agreed because his master had taught him to sacrifice everything to protect the weak. The next morning, Wulin met Jai Shan's spoiled daughter, Fei Fei. She thought he was a thief and was so scared that she dropped her towel. When she realized Wulin was her bodyguard, she tried to bribe him to leave, but Wulin was firm on his principles. Fei Fei even tried to scare him with a fake gun, but Wulin wasn't affected at all. They went to a mall where Wulin followed her everywhere. Fei Fei noticed some goons harassing a girl. She walked straight up to their leader and slapped him. But the clever girl lied and said, "Brother, would I slap anyone without reason? That guy over there sent me." The goons then turned their attention to Fei Fei. Wulin stood back, smiling at their cat-and-mouse chase. After enjoying the moment, Wulin stepped in to save her, beating up the goons and chasing them away. That night, Wulin dreamed of his father throwing him off a cliff. It wasn't just a dream. It had really happened when he was 7 years old. His father had tried to kill him, but Wulin never knew why. His father had said, "To achieve success, you must sacrifice." We then see a gangster named Mr. Fu, who used to be Jai Shan's boss. But now, Fu wanted to kill Jai Shan because Jai Shan had evidence of Fu's crimes. One day, a fortune teller told Fu that his death was near. Hearing this, Fu got so angry that he shot the fortune teller. If only he could see his own future, he wouldn't have said such nonsense. Fu muttered. The next day, Wulin and Fei Fei went to a restaurant. Fei Fei was eating, while Wulin stood nearby, keeping an eye on everyone. Suddenly, Wulin grabbed a waitress, believing she was about to harm Fei Fei. Fei Fei got angry and went to the bathroom, but Wulin dragged her out for her safety. While they were on their way home, they had another fight. Some passers-by thought Wulin was harassing Fei Fei, so they stepped in to save her. Taking advantage of the situation, Fei Fei ran away, only to be kidnapped by the same waitress. Wulin's suspicion was absolutely right. He quickly chased after the car, jumping onto it from a bridge, but he couldn't keep his balance and fell off. The second time, he directly jumped in front of the car, fought the masked goons bravely, and managed to rescue Fei Fei, bringing her home safely. At home, Fei Fei asked, "How did you know that waitress was going to kidnap me?" Wulin replied, "A person can lie to me, but their actions reveal their true intentions." Fei Fei then shared her story. She explained how she had bodyguards her entire life. She was never allowed to do anything on her own, which is why she hated bodyguards. But she felt Wulin was different from the rest. That night, before going to bed, Fei Fei looked at a picture of her family and cried while remembering her mother. Meanwhile, the gangster Fu sent one of his men to Zhang Li. Fu wanted Zhang Li's help to eliminate Jai Shan. Although Zhang Li didn't feel right about it, he agreed. Years ago, when Zhang Li first came to the city, it was Fu who had fed him and helped him start his business. Zhang Li felt indebted to him. The next day, Zhang Li met Wulin and bragged about his connections and power. He said he could make anything happen in the city. Then, he told Wulin to stop protecting Fei Fei. But Wulin refused. For the first time, the two brothers stood against each other. Zhang Li admitted that he was still angry with Wulin. Their master had given Wulin the special iron shoes, not him. The master always believed Wulin was the true kung fu warrior. Now, Zhang Li wanted to prove who was stronger between them. A fierce fight broke out between the two brothers. They were evenly matched, but Zhang Li had always mastered a special technique. With one powerful punch, he sent Wulin crashing into a wall. Finally, Zhang Li declared that they were no longer brothers and walked away. Wulin knew Fei Fei's life was in danger, so he took her to a secret safe house. They spent days practicing kung fu together. One day, Wulin revealed that each of his shoes weighed 25 kilos. He had worn them for 8 years to become super powerful. He said, "The day I take these shoes off, no one will be able to match my strength." Soon, Zhang Li's men found their location. Zhang Li knew his men wouldn't stand a chance against Wulin, so he gave them heavy shackles to trap him. That night, the goons ambushed Wulin and Fei Fei. The two ran into the forest, but Wulin stayed behind to fight. During the chaos, 2 goons kidnapped Fei Fei. Wulin chased after them, but accidentally stepped on the shackles, which got tangled with his iron shoes. Even then, he didn't give up. Despite being bound by chains, he fought the goons and defeated them. But in the end, they tied his legs and smashed him into a wall. One of the goons dragged him into a field where Zhang Li stood watching. Wulin lay there, barely breathing, but Zhang Li masked his sorrow with anger. He punched Wulin hard in the chest, and his men buried him alive. The heavy rain turned the ground into mud. Suddenly, Wulin crawled out of the ground. His heart was on the right side of his chest, so Zhang Li's punch didn't kill him. Wulin returned home and, for the first time in 8 years, took off his iron shoes. He had become a true warrior. Dressed in a sharp suit, he went to Zhang Li's office. Zhang Li's men attacked him, but without the 50 kilos weighing him down, Wulin was incredibly fast. Using only his legs, he defeated the guards effortlessly. Finally, he reached a room where Fu, Zhang Li, Fei Fei, and Jai Shan were present. Fu asked, "Kid, aren't you afraid of death?" Wulin replied, "To achieve success, sacrifices must be made." Hearing this, Fu froze in shock. Years ago, he had tried to kill Wulin as a child, saying the exact same words. Years ago, Fu and Jai Shan had worked together, but Fu betrayed Jai Shan by handing him to the police, which led to Jai Shan's wife's death. Fu shot at Wulin, but Zhang Li stepped in to take the bullet. Tired of being Fu's puppet, Zhang Li wanted to fight Wulin himself. The brothers fought fiercely. Zhang Li had special gloves, but Wulin's newfound strength was unmatched. When Zhang Li was about to lose, Fu shot him. As Zhang Li died, he told Wulin to take their master's place and ensure the iron leg kung fu tradition lived on. In the end, Wulin spared Fu's life because his master had taught him never to attack an unarmed person. He scattered Zhang Li's ashes from a mountain saying a final goodbye to his brother and friend. Do you have a friend so close they feel like family? Share your thoughts in the comments.